Earth to earth, roots to roots, life to life. The Kitchen is a Netflix original written and directed by Daniel Kaluuya, who's been in films like Get Out and Nope, and lends his star power to help out Kemboy Tavares with his feature directorial credit. He has done shorts. You can check out his IMDb page for the full list of his work, and was also written by Joe Murtaugh, who's too old for this shit. No, wait, that was Daniel Glover's character in the long-running Lethal Weapon series. Apparently, they're trying to do a fifth Lethal Weapon movie. That has nothing to do with The Kitchen. Let's get back to The Kitchen, and let's talk about that, but Joe has also done a few projects, including The Woman in the Wall, till the sweat drops down her non-existent balls, and all these bitches crawl, and all skeet skeet motherfucker, and all skeet skeet goddamn, and boy, that was certainly an unexpected reference, and I'm sure that everybody that likes hip-hop is instantly going to jump through a window to forget they ever heard me, a 43-year-old white guy, try to do that. So, this is set in a dystopian London where the gap between the rich and the poor is wider than ever. Gee, it's almost reflecting real-life events now, isn't it? In fact, it's almost a bleak look at what could happen with the future, and make sure that we work hard and we do what we can to help each other out, because we're going to have to buddy up, because oh boy. Yes, we see how the rich continue to get richer, and then there's a particular, hamlet, a community called The Kitchen that basically is on land that doesn't belong to them, but they will not leave. They will not leave, and they are just doing what they can to have restaurants, have a community, apartments, and they also have a warning system when the police show up and they start banging pots and pans and everything and all this, but they work really hard, including Izzy, also known as Isaac, but we go with I-Z-I. It's like Iggy, I-G-G-Y. Okay, I'm done with the hip-hop references, I fucking promise. Played by Kane O'Kano, who looks a lot different than he did in Mortal Kombat. And he basically is working hard at a place called Life After Life, where the departed are, planted and, made into trees, basically. And they can grow and they can do whatever. But also it's about how much money you have and where you're going to be. And, money. Money makes the world go round, the world go round, the world go round. That's right, vitamin C reference. A lot of song references in this particular review. Why am I doing that? Because really, outside of a couple characters in this, it's kind of a typical story. But Izzy ends up bearing the mother of Benji, played by Jedediah Bannerman. Bannerman, one of the lamest superheroes ever. Nothing against the young lad that plays Benji. He doesn't really have anybody anymore. It turns out that his mother was very nice to him, gave him a bike just before she passed away, but now he has no place else to go. Shrieking officer and a gentleman noises. I'm done making random references, I swear. I swear I won't do that again in any other review. But this community actually is a close-knit community. To an extent, there's also a bunch of bikers led by a guy named Staples. That was easy. And also there is a radio DJ type guy named Lord Kitchener. So really, as far as, characters go, there isn't a whole lot of depth and a whole lot of thought put into some of these characters. But he's played by Ian Wright. There's a few people you may recognize. I do want to say that one thing this movie reminded me of, just taking out the alien factor, was Attack the Block. In the sense, if you are not from London or this particular part of London, and you aren't used to these accents, put the fucking subtitles on. It's hard for me to understand some of these accents. No disrespect to any of the people involved. No disrespect to any of the cast, any of the crew. This is definitely supposed to show, what is going to probably be like in London, and I wish nothing but the best for everybody over there in the UK. This bullshit, the good people have to deal with this kind of crap. But it is a bleak look into what could happen. Now, it's mostly about the relationship between Izzy and Benji. And also, if Benji's going to be a good kid on the straight and narrow, falling with the wrong crowd. There are some good shots, and there are some decently acted scenes, but really this movie is more of a concept than it is an actual movie. It's fine for what it is. It's even a little bit better than average, but overall it just is kind of there. I will say, as far as social commentary, it does a really good job with it, but while not necessarily playing it safe, it also doesn't have a lot extra to say outside of the realistic time period that we could be facing in 30 to 50 years or whatever. Hopefully not. But after some setup and after we see Izzy with his, his co-worker, that's the word I was trying to search for, named Jace, not Mace, not Mo Money, Mo Problems, not been around the world 999. They've been player haters. Okay, I'm done. We find out more about these people, and we find out, more about some of the guys. Benji finds that, there are good people in the kitchen since he has nowhere to go. Also, Benji has a chance at a better life, possibly, but realizes the kitchen is home. There's a lot of good themes here. It's just that the movie feels painfully just barely above average. It ends up being fine, well acted, and there are a few good shots, but that's really about all I have to say. What do you want from me? Netflix hasn't exactly been knocking it out of the park with a lot of these originals. That being said, it is on Netflix if you want to check it out. Decent enough for what it is, has a few good things to say, but nothing that absolutely will elevate it to like high stardom. Nevertheless, I'm going to get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. So, Benji references, his mom, like, quite often. Izzy said that he knew his mom, and if you can't guess where the fuck they're going with that, okay, just gonna say right now, because fuck you, I'm in the spoiler section, Izzy is Benji's dad. Big fucking shock. So that's why he feels an attachment to take care of him, because the mother passed, even though he cared about the mother. He didn't want to be with her, but the mother even said, oh, he didn't love, Izzy didn't love her, but she loved Benji. Gee, I wonder why. Could we heap the foreshadowing on more? And we see some police raids. They get a little more violent every single time because they're on occupied land. They aren't authorized to be there. And they got the dystopian setting right. Sure, like, it's kind of typical. You have the more smoothed out vehicles and the drones and some of the stuff. At least you focus on this community and you don't focus on this big, like, watchtower, where this, government entity is keeping an eye on them. At least they didn't go full on Divergent. Probably a good thing, because the Divergent movies really dipped with the third one. That was going to turn into a fourth one, but it didn't do well because they overestimated shit. This movie kind of overestimates its own shit. It takes it easy, but also there are points where, like, okay, it feels like it's trying to say something else and it doesn't necessarily work. The banging of the pots and pans to get people to, get inside and, shelter in place, that was good. And it's much more about the dynamic between Izzy and Benji. That's pretty much it. Some characters get forgotten about. There was a roller rink rave party thing at some points. There was a part in the beginning with Staples and others that were knocking over a food truck, getting rid of the guard basically to take this food truck to help out the community, because between the have and the have-nots are going to do more desperate shit instead of just, maybe making sure that actual human beings are taken care of. No, we want to make them poor. That's not how that's supposed to work. You're actually supposed to help people out. Just want to say, help them out to an extent. Make sure you take care of yourself first and take care of your loved ones, but maybe help people out when you can. So, Isaac, or Izzy, also has the opportunity to get, a grand old place at a place called Buena Vita. Single occupancy. After Benji comes in, he asks if he can switch to double occupancy. And I don't know if that necessarily, ever got expanded on beyond. He shows up at this place and then realizes, it isn't necessarily for him, because there's this automated message. It's like the one in The Fifth Element, except a lot more annoying, a lot more grating, kind of like Alexa. Thankfully, I don't have one of those, so that didn't end up turning on, because why would I want to have that much equipment spying on me when I have a cell phone? Nevertheless, the idea of the, the life-to-life deal, and, like the tree. Basically, Benji's worried about his mother. They wanted to plant him somewhere, and or plant her somewhere, and they get the opportunity to do that. Unfortunately, there's a bad police, raid that ends up killing the DJ Lord Kitchener, because, again, creative names. Ian Wright, by the way, does the best he can with this role. He's been in some other good stuff as well. And the acting, at least as far as main characters, is fine. There's an attempt at a romance between Benji and a girl named Ruby. Not Ruby, 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 Soho. Not Destination Unknown, because we're in the kitchen. That's referred to as a shithole. By Izzy, I just want to say. Good old Rancid reference. Done doing the music references. Trying to entertain myself at this point. So yeah, Lord, the Lord is basically put to rest. And then there's one final conflict where Stables and his group attack, not the block, they attack just this area of a bunch of rich people or the haves, and that ends up causing more of the police force to come in, but they ambush them and they beat up the police force and destroy them because they're tired of not having shit and just wanting to live. Yeah, they just want to live, which is fair. I think every human being would want to live. And as the police are continuing their raid, we focus on Izzy and Benji again. He asks, "Are you my father?" He nods. And he said, "Would you want me to be?" And then Benji says, "Let's see how it goes." We have a, pounding on the door, either people trying to get in or the police trying to get in, and we fade to black. Yeah, that's it for the kitchen right there. I actually thought we were going to get something like The Platform, and it was going to be, the haves and the have-nots, which is a terrific horror social commentary movie, by the way. But that being said, the kitchen, it's decent enough. It gets a C+, decent acting. I'm interested to see what Kid Boy Tavares does. And it's nice that Daniel Kaluuya lended his star power and wanted to tell a good story here. It's just, it ended up being, to me, kind of painfully average with a couple performances elevated. So yeah, C+. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rinthlan. I'll see you soon.